Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Enjoy the Goldilocks Productions presentation of the In the Psychic Flow Show with Carolan Carey.
Well, welcome everyone. Good evening. This is Carolan Carey. I am your host for In the Psychic Flow. We have a delightful show for you this evening, so I hope you're ready to buckle up because we have Psychic Joanne Leo in the house tonight. She is on our switchboard now. We had a delightful day here in Sarasota, a little cloudy, a little rain, which is pretty good. We need that. Christmas week, we will not be here, so we have one more show before the end of the year, which will be Thursday, December 19th, which we might have a guest or we may just have me. So if you're looking for mini readings, please give me a call. I hope you will consider me your spirit connection. My website is www.carolancarey.com, CarolanCarey. What else can I tell you today? I would be delighted if you would contact me. I think I've said that 3 times, just to stop using that adjective. We have a fabulous guest tonight. If you don't know anything about Joanne Leo, her website is psychicjoanneleo.com, which is Joanne, Joanne, Leo like the lion.com. She's fabulous. She does her own brand of psychic numerology. Joanne was a 6-figure corporate exec, and she answered her calling to spirit, I guess you would call it. She retired from that and started her own journey into this venture, which she calls psychic numerology, tarot with a twist, and readings with a heart. And you can see all those on her website. She's also a life coach. She is a student of Louise Hay, and very much, she's probably going to correct me on that. Her and Louise Hay were both students of a very well-known teacher, and she's going to probably talk about that tonight. I forget the lady's name. Sorry, Joanne. She's a very interesting story. But how Joanne changed her life, and she has been through some situations like we all have, and where it's hard to remain positive, and somehow she manages to reach deep in within herself and pull herself out, pull this courage out to keep going. So she's a remarkable woman in that instance. But she specializes in your date of birth and your birth name. So if you would like to call us this evening, get a mini reading, that would be area code 206-806-9965. And we have a caller waiting, so I hope if you're on the URL or the website, which is freeconferencecall.com/wall/Goldie Productions. If you're on there and you'd like to call in, or if you're in listening mode, you need to call 206-806-9965. So let me see if Joanne is with us and ready and available. Joanne, are you there?
I am.
Oh, it's so great to talk to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm hanging in there today. I'm doing okay.
That's good.
How are you doing?
Good.
Are you all ready to talk about what you do?
Well, sure I am. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I have a caller. Do you want to take the caller first?
Sure. Absolutely.
Oh. Okay. We have a caller at area code 941. Would you like to speak to Joanne, please?
Hello. This is Karen.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
My first time, yes. Thank you.
Oh, welcome to In the Psychic Flow. We're glad to have you. How are you doing?
Good. I'm able to hear you guys, so I'm excited.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me turn you over to Joanne. Joanne, this is Karen.
Hey, Karen, what's your birthday?
1/14/1962.
Okie dokie.
She's a baby.
Give me a minute here. She's a baby. Okay, so first of all, a couple things about you. Number one, you're You're definitely a fixer, and you're definitely a nurturer. Are you in the healthcare field at all?
No.
How about teaching fields? Because you've got that essence that you could really make a difference.
A little bit, yeah. I haven't been lately, but
okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Because I know that you don't like a lot of drama either. So, but what I do pick up about you is emotionally is that because you're a fixer, correct?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I want you to kind of work with me on this one. Draw this in your mind, F-I-X-E-R. Right? Got that?
Yes.
And now I want you to put an equal sign.
Okay.
And now we're going to draw out V-I-C-T-I-M-S. Fixers always wind up victims because you have a good heart. Yes. Fixers always wind up victims. And when I started putting this all together for people, when I was reading their soul, which I'm reading a little bit of your soul because the name on your birth certificate and your birthday is how you're registered in heaven. So I'm just the interpreter of that little blueprint. But when you have that that empathy, that compassion, that overrider, you jump in and say, let me help, or, they come to you because you got the neon sign flashing. They're never going to do it because they have you to do it. So I would give my advice to you is to give them a suggestion. You may want to look into this. You may want to call this person. But then you need to take your hands off and finish with, I'm sure you'll figure it out. And that's going to help you stand strong in your shoes. Because what happens is you give away your power. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
I do. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now let's see what's going on with you. I'm going to look at 2020 because we're almost winding down here. Okay? So,
yes, please.
I would say the last 18 months has not been your easiest rodeo. Is that about right?
Oh, yeah.
And what I'm going to say to you, because we all go through that cycle every 9 years, okay? And this year and a half thing, I want you to kind of take some time of people, places, and things. What were the aha moments and what were the let go moments? What were the lesson moments? You got that? Aha, lessons, let go.
Yeah.
And we go for that for a reason. I like to give this analogy when I'm counseling. It's like going up into an attic that you've been storing people, places, things, situations, emotions, occasions, all kinds of stuff is up in this attic. You walk up the stairs, you go, holy criminy sakes, I can't believe I stuffed all this stuff up here. People, places, and things. What are the keepers? What do you need to think about in your pile there? And where is the pile that says out? See? So it's kind of like really rebirthing rebirthing yourself and giving yourself a shot in the arm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Even though that we might have had tears in the process. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to be comfortable and know that. So now when you go into 2020, and I want to say, let me look at this, Jenny. I would venture to say this happens by March. It's going to be like you just got rocket fuel. Okay? It's kind of like you're going to be recharged and redirected. Does that make sense?
Great. I'm ready.
And so I really feel like you're going to really, really stand strong in your shoes, lessons learned, move forward. A lot of times we have to just look in the rearview mirror and keep going forward, okay? April, May, and June, this is like weighing things out, making decisions. There might be some any kind of contracts that you sign. Make sure that you know what you're doing and check all your boxes and the I's and the T's and all that stuff. But there also might be some decisions with the work situation or a living situation. But then I feel like when we get into July, August, and September, it's like very successful, very positive of things that you weighed out in that April, May, and June situation, okay? And then October, November, and December is like party time and having fun and reaping the rewards for the last year and a half of the trials and tribulations. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
That's a great
You're
reading.
welcome.
Very great reading. Thank you, Karen, for calling in. And that was great advice, Joanne. Thank you so much. I hope that helps you, Karen.
Yes, thanks. Great to hear you all. Thank you,
Thank
Joanne.
you.
Thank you.
Our next caller, Joanne, if you're ready, we have one at area code 863. Are you there, please?
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, ladies. This is Julia from Florida.
Hi, how are you?
Julia.
Good. Enjoying talking to Tiffany in the chat room.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we were talking about little Yoda and how cute he is.
Oh, how nice. Joanne,
So
let me have Joanne take over, okay? Go ahead, Joanne.
All right, thank you.
Did you say your name was Julia?
Yeah, Julia, Julia.
Okay. What's your birth date, Julia?
It's September 16th, 1961.
Okay. So you've just gone through a pretty reinventing year because you had that 18-month thing about, in the last 2 years, but it's stretching out a little bit because this year, 2019, was where you were supposed to move forward, set new goals, and lessons learned, just like I was talking to Karen. So when you get into 2020, it's all going to be about, if you could visualize a Lady Justice, you know how she has that big scale?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's going to be weighing out, and I want you to think about one side is good for me and one side's not good for me. One side's healthy for me, the other side's not healthy for me. So it's going to be weighing out situations, people, places, and things. Does that make sense? And I want you to tune into, your gut feeling, because that's really what your lessons is in this 2020 year. Now, hold on a second while I do some computing here. Okay. I know that you're super sensitive, but you're also very. Do you procrastinate, honey?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, I
drive myself crazy.
The thing is when I started channeling numerology, it's so different than a book because it's like a download from heaven. And so I know that you're not very fair to yourself. You're too hard on yourself, and you really need to balance that out this year. So I want you to really think about this: good for me, not good for me, healthy for me, not healthy for me. Because that inner critic is going to kick your butt, and it's been kicking your butt. So it's not the truth either. So you just put yourself to perfection. It does not work. I haven't met a happy perfectionist yet, and I've been doing this a long time. So nothing's perfect, honey, okay? Now that you know that, we're going to work on giving it your best. I like this little analogy that I give my clients. Good, better, best. Never let it rust until your good is better, and your better is best. So swing your leg out of bed, and you're going to give it your best shot. Not perfect. There's no perfect in there, right?
Right.
There's no perfect mother, father, sister, brother, teacher, boss, co-worker, friend. Nothing's perfect, honey. So once you know that, that you deserve the best, look for the best, not perfect. Okay? Are you in a relationship currently?
No, not at this time. I would like to be at some point, yeah.
I think you will be. I feel by the end of 2020, like by fall, I feel that you will be, but you've got to get unstuck. I feel like and Carolan's heard me say this over and over again, you got to have a non-negotiable list. And the reason I'm saying that is a lot of times if you don't have a non-negotiable list, you just go with the flow, and then you kind of wake up later and say, this is not for me. Do you see what I'm saying? But a non-negotiable list, at least you're more focused and ready because it's lessons learned from the past, right? Yes. So just to kind of give you an idea, my non-negotiable list, what I learned from my past is if they had an alcohol issue or a drug issue, or even if they were rehabbed or whatever, I wasn't going to jump on that train, okay? And it had to be somebody who was family-oriented, because I am. And it had to be somebody who could agree to disagree. And I had to be somebody that was supportive. Definitely had to be trustworthy, somebody I could respect. And they had to respect me back. And they absolutely, positively, in capital letters, had to be a communicator, because I wasn't going to second-guess and try to figure out what they want, what they think. You understand? And that's been your stumbling block as well, because you walk into you're in a relationship or you meet somebody and you're not communicating, or they have to second guess what makes Julia happy, what is Julia like, because you're not talking. Got it?
Yes.
So communication's the breakfast of champions, honey. Okay?
Yes.
And I would also say that it's very important that you listen to your gut feelings this year. So get busy, write a non-negotiable list, and also, while you're at it, write down what you deserve so that you can get out of this critical thinking, okay? And you really need to work on doing with some Louise Hay, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Get on YouTube or get yourself some audiobooks. You cannot do a book with your numbers, okay? You have to have audio, okay?
That's so funny, because I've got a Kindle, and it has a text-to-speech function, and that's what I do. I listen to books with the text, so it basically is reading to me. So when I get into my head, I turn it so it plays the book, and I just listen. That's so funny you said that.
Well, I'll start you out with the same book that Louise Hay and I studied together, okay? It's called The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. And Shinn is Shinn. And what I do with my life coaching clients is, of course, they have to follow up and follow through because I give homework. But I have them have a notebook, and they have to do chapter notes as they're listening. And the great thing about audio, especially with your numbers too, is the rewind button, because your critic, that voice in between your ears that gets you into trouble and keeps you stuck, is going to call BS. This is BS, or I don't have time for this, so let me do laundry, because it doesn't want you to learn and grow.
Wow.
See, the one thing that's very, very important that no school teaches you, sometimes you get it in a family or in your young environment, and sometimes you don't, but that's to learn to love yourself. And that's not selfish, and that's not narcissistic, and anybody that tells you that is full of baloney.
What a great reading, Joanne. Julia, how do you feel about that? Good?
I think she's absolutely on point, and yes, it's wonderful. Thank you. You've been on point,
you're
and
so
I do
welcome.
have an inner critic and everything you said. So thank you so much. I'm just glad I got to talk to you. So thank you.
Thank you for calling in.
I did the battle with the inner critic, Julia. It took a lot of work, but I was dedicated that it was not going to rule me any further. So
there you go.
I encourage you to make that one of your goals.
Excellent. Thank you.
Very good advice.
It's been a struggle, so yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that's
you're welcome, Julia. Thank you for calling in. I guess she hung up. We have a very special listener who happens to be our Angel Connection's mother, who is wonderful, Irene. Our Angel Connection, I call her our Angel Connection, is Laura Romero. And she has Angels and Healing Light Show on Goldilocks Productions. And I'm going to ask her if she has a particular question. She is hanging on, so if she has a question, we will, Tiffany, our producer, will put her through. We do have a lot of listeners hanging on to every word Joanne says. If you would like a reading with Joanne or myself, area code 206-806-9965. Let me see what the message I'm getting from the producer here. Laura's mom may delay. Her mom is unmuted. Hi, okay. Irene, are you there? Irene. There she's not there yet.
Hello, Irene.
Okay, that's okay. She may pop up yet. Let's see, because they were in the chat room with the producer talking about you. And the shows and everything, you know. So, anyway, we'll see. If she comes through, I will see if we can help her. Let me talk to you about, thank you for bringing up the name of your teacher, Ms. Shin. I could not remember her name. And I knew it was three names, and I could not remember it. But I think that is so fascinating that you and Louise Hayes were students of this wonderful woman who is really, the research that I had done on her when I interviewed you initially was she was really a pioneer of metaphysics, wasn't she?
Well, yes, because the Game of Life and How to Play It, are you ready for this, was written in 1926.
Wow.
So when the Law of Attraction and the Secret came out, I was so disappointed because they really took Shin principles and kind of jazzed it up and jelly beans and all that.
Right.
But it's you got to start with the woman that set the precedent. That and I can tell you, if you apply it, the wisdom, and you know, my life coaching students, you know, go above and beyond. The one client that I have, she's been my client for 6 years. She's totally transformed herself, you know, and she did the work. So she got the gold stars. It's not me. I'm just the cheerleader or the kick in the butt, one of the two. And you know Carolan because you've had me as your little coach too. So.
Oh, it was wonderful because, you know, we hear all the, you know, like you see, you brought up The Secret and the Law of Attraction, which is, like, to me, over-publicized. I mean, it was a moneymaker, so they jumped on it. And there's a couple other things, too, I won't say on air that I disagree with because I've done more in-depth study of spiritual law, and I know how it works. And we only have an inkling on this side of how they really work. They're so complicated, actually, and so dense, and there are so many layers to each law that it's not jelly beans. You know, it's not that. And you have to work other laws as well. Here comes the teacher and the soapbox coming out. I apologize for that. But I feel that the information that you gave me, was right on and true. It's not something, it's the reality of it. It's not rainbows and unicorns BS that people buy to make themselves feel better, like the Law of Attraction or The Secret, and then 6 months later they're still ripping their hair out because they're doing their little affirmations. They're not getting anywhere. When the reading with you is so special and your coaching is so special because it's unique to my situation, to her situation, to Julia's, to Karen's, to mine. It's all unique because you're giving us information based on our name, our birth name, and our date of birth. So everything is unique just to me. You know what I mean? And your coaching style is unique to me. You may not coach me the same way that you coach someone else, correct?
That's correct, because you have to understand the name on your birth certificate and your birth date is how you're registered in heaven. So it is chock full of information. I'm just a stenographer, interpreter. So when somebody can really understand their blueprint because you design it, when I know you know this because you're my girl that I go to for medium work, so and who I refer. The thing is the soul never dies. You know that. I know that. And there's a period of time when we make a transition to heaven, and we decide we're ready to come back down here and do more lessons or work on our soul so we can round it out. And when I was studying this, Carolan, and I know I've mentioned this before, but, I had a wonderful teacher. She was very strict. She was old school, spiritual, to the moon, okay? And, she says to me, well, we did the blueprint, we choose, everybody in our life, our mothers, our fathers, our sisters, our brothers, our teachers, our work, friends, what the good, the bad, the ugly. And I said to her, I have not had an easy rodeo. Why would I choose this? Well, long story short, I do understand it now because I couldn't be the coach that I am today had I not gone through all those different scenarios, because I can relate to, I was married and divorced. I have a stepchild. I was a Fortune 500 employee manager. Okay, I get that. But I've also had a lot of the emotional stuff along the way. And the thing is how to survive it, how to master it, how not to become the victim of it. See, that's the kicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great, very good advice. I just got something from Tiffany, the producer. We have a young lady whose name is Julie, birth date 11/2/59, and she has a two-sentence question. One is, my boyfriend passed away in October, and she's wondering if he has a message for her. But her question from chat for you would be, her name is Julie, birthday 12/2/59, and she can't. And a lot of people are listening from their laptops, so she doesn't have a microphone, so she can't call in. She's listening to the show. So we have a lot of people listening. So if they want to text, if you're listening and you want to text your information or comment, put that in the comments, Tiffany will relay that to us, and that would be great. That's fine. So can you help Julie with her birth date 11/2/59?
Yeah, of course I can. So,
okay.
You're the person to do the boyfriend thing, but I do know that this was a tough year for Julie because there's something to do with experiences that evolve around decisions, and also alcohol or drugs could be around her because it's a tough year of influence like that. Like usually when I see this coming up for a year, during the year, I go, don't speak because you're going to get a ticket. Don't drink and drive, take Uber. Okay? And it's for the cycle. And she's almost through that cycle at the end of, I want to say, February. So no drinking, no driving, no speeding or anything like that. I know that it's been a tough year for her as far as it's more emotional. And I think some things have come up along the way, and it's I don't know if she's going, this is correct or whatever, but I do feel that July, August, and September were definitely an emotional situation for her. Mm-hmm. And this October,
he passed away in October.
I understand that. And that's the strength of where she's got to really hold herself together. I don't know if this was an illness or if this was a product of the person's lifestyle. Okay? Mm-hmm. I feel more like, let me get my St. Michael's pendulum here.
saying it's an accident.
It's more of a lifestyle thing.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think the thing is for her not to not feel guilty or feel responsible or I could have, would have, should have. I think that's a very important thing I would say to her. I do feel like this next year is going to be more about her restructuring and being really stronger than she's ever been before.
Okay.
Did she say?
Thank you for that.
What her? Did she say? Did she give the birth date of her boyfriend that passed?
No.
Okay.
If she answers, I will give you that. Okay. If I get that, if I hear from her again here, I will give you that. Let me see. I'm very happy that people are listening on their laptops, and I understand why we have so many listeners. It just popped up. The birth date for the boyfriend is 2/13/56. So, Julie, this might be very helpful for you.
Okay, so give me a minute here. Okay.
I'm going to say if people are listening on their tablets, which I totally understand they don't have a headset, please refer your comments going to the chat room or whatever, and Tiffany will refer you to us, and we'll be glad to answer your questions that way. I was wondering why we had so many listeners, not that many callers, and I think that's why, because of the new setup that we have. So this is great. This is another alternative. If you don't feel like being on the phone, that's fine. We can answer these this way. That's great. Joanne, you let me know when you're ready. And
well, it's good for the kind of reader that I am because all they have to do is check the information, and I just tune right in. But some people can't do that. But being that I'm doing channel numerology, it's a different ballgame. I really feel like a little bit about this fellow. I don't have his first name, but I do feel that he's almost got like the Peter Pan syndrome. That he was, of course, an adult, but yet there was some immaturity or, I don't want to grow up kind of thing, Peter Pan. But I do feel that he was a very sensitive person. He did his best as best he could to be responsible. But I do feel he was super sensitive and took things to heart too much.
His name was Dan.
Dan? Like Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay.
That might give you a little bit more focus.
Okay. Yes, I feel he was very sensitive. I do feel that he was responsible. I don't know if he was in medical or teaching or doing something that had a lot of responsibility to it. But I do feel that he took things emotionally more intense. I like to give the analogy that if I get a paper cut, I go and wash it with some soap and water, throw a little Neosporin on it, a Band-Aid, and I'm good to go. Somebody with this intensity in their charts, I'm taking them to the ER for stitches. You understand? So they take things more, they feel things more intensely. They either don't express or express things to the nth degree. Do you understand? They feel it.
This guy sounds like, I'm listening to you, but I'm trying not to listen to you for the impression. The first thing that he gave me was the J, and then I realized her name is Julia. So he is, he didn't give me his name, but he gave me her name, her initial. And as you're talking, this guy feels very deep. A little Peter Panner-ish, like you said, but I feel like he's very deep, like holds a lot inside.
Exactly.
I want to say, I agree with your lifestyle synopsis there. I do feel there's an accident here someplace that may have led to his death, or he's taking, he says I was like irresponsible, or I'm taking responsibility. So I hope Julie can take that. I want to say to her, thank you, something about a memorial. Thank you for that. And, you know, I have a nice picture. One of the last things he thought about was holding hands with her, walking and holding hands. So he shows me this picture. I hope this is accurate. This is before, but he still thinks about that. He's still thinking about that and has a lot of regret that he passed it this way. But he will say it was an exit for him. I don't think it was a planned death. I don't get that. I kind of get that either it was spur of the moment or accidental. What I do get, he talks about Christmas. He does talk about his family. He talks about disappointment, that they're disappointed or heartbroken or something. But I want to try to give her some words, and I keep getting like a fish for some reason, a goldfish, a fish. I'm trying to get some things for her to hold on to. And I'm also being shown a necklace, so I think he may have given her a necklace or something. I don't know how serious they were, but I feel there was a very tight closeness there. If it wasn't recognized yet, it was going to be, so I think there might have been talk of the future. There's also a small child he's talking about somewhere. I don't know if that's in real life or in the other side, but he's talking about that. I kept getting a small mail. I want to say to Julie, I love you through and through. And there is some kind of little saying, like it goes on cards, or she put on cards, or some kind of romantic little saying, like love you always. Like I had, my first husband was always love always, you know. But this was like a special little 3 to 4 word thing that they shared. And I'm really not getting a lot else with him because I'm trying to tell him it's okay. I want to let her know he is okay. He is in God's arms. I want to let you know that in case there was any question. There was a spirituality about this man, but not a religion. And he was welcomed, and I have a grandmother on that other side for him, or an older woman, it seems like a grandmother type, that welcomed him and grabbed him and hugged him like there was no tomorrow as well. And he is being looked after. So I'm going to leave her with that. If something else comes, I will interject. What else do you have on this that can help her keep going, Joanne?
Well, I do feel that once you can get past either the events, it's to get into the memories. And I really, you know, I really truly believe, and you know, I lost my brother a few months ago. So when I go through the sadness part, I have to think of every time I think about the sadness of missing him, I have to replace it with something that was funny or that it was memorable.
Right.
To help me heal. And I would encourage her to do that as well. You know, Carolan, I love the work you do as well, and I respect it tremendously. I would encourage her to get Life on the Other Side by Sylvia Brown, only because it's a little good primer so that you can find some inner peace about that. I do recommend it for people who don't understand the unknown as you and I understand it.
Right.
That's why I do what
I do. And
right. As a numerologist, you choose when you come and you choose when you go, and a lot of times we don't like the part of when they go kind of thing because we don't understand it. We're humans, and you know, we live on the earth plane here, and it's very hard sometimes to understand if it hasn't been an illness or if it's something that's sudden. It's difficult.
Yeah. Julie says, thank you very much. So I guess that resonated with her. I was just, let me just, you know, when we both do the same kind of metaphysical work in a way. Let me put it this way. You help them when they're living, and I help them when they're dead. How's that sound?
And
you help them get through life, I help them get through death. How's that?
Right. Well, that's why I love working with you, because it's like in synergy, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And when I do the card readings, the tarot with the twist, I do follow up with angel cards for confirmation. And right now I'm just feeling like Raphael and Archangel Michael would be very good for her to, look into some comfort in that. Maybe go on YouTube and look at a St. Michael thing. And Raphael's the healer and helps you heal your emotions as well as physical.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard when we don't have the person giving the input back, unless she's talking to Tiffany.
Well, I could say to you that Julie says thank you so much with a big heart, and yes, it did help. It's not like one-on-one. You're right, but it is an alternative that I hadn't thought of before. Some people do not want to be on the radio calling it.
Yes, I get that. I understand that. Yeah. And no, I'm saying I'm still going to get a reading because I've got their soul in front of me. Okay, so it doesn't matter. It's just that as far as confirmation that we're on the right pew, they'd have to tell Tiffany or something so that we would know that we're on the right pew.
Right. Well, I think we are on the right pew. They were enwrapped listening. What is the advice that you would give for 2020 for most people? What does 2020 signify? It signifies a lot of things. It's self-respect. It represents the home. It represents security. It represents a strong foundation. It represents organization and putting things in order or sorting things through, getting yourself more grounded. Excuse me. I got to get some water. Okay.
I think it's going to be where, and it also represents law and order too.
Mm-hmm.
So where things have been imbalanced or kind of confusing or up and down and in and out and all around, 2020 is going to be more of a straight arrow of putting things together. And I like it because it represents security, and it represents home, it represents work, it represents, doing the right thing, too. So I think you're going to start seeing a lot of things being pieced together where things make more sense, or there's more, it's not so ring around the rosy kind of stuff.
Okay. Because I would think that just the numbers 2020 has got to be like almost mystical,
Right.
The beginning of a new.
It represents balance too.
Balance, like in control. Oh, she says back to your maiden name. Oh, listeners in chat are wondering and want to ask Joanne, is it better to change your name back to your maiden name after a divorce or keep it? That's
well, it doesn't matter because, let me explain this a little bit. The name on your birth certificate has your maiden name, right?
Right.
So when I do your birth chart, it's the name on your birth certificate. That's how you're registered in heaven. So you could be married, you could be divorced. All that name is that you take on when you're married is an essence, or is an addition of different energy that I interpret with the married name. But, it's going to be your birth certificate name is how you're registered in heaven. That's your soul, baby. So
that's it. Okay.
That's it. That's the ball game.
That was a very good question. That's very helpful. Listeners in chat are wondering what to ask Joanne. We have another caller. Kavita is the next caller. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. Our area code is 516. Are you there, please?
Yes, hi. Do you have any messages for me today from Spirit?
Oh,
Well,
let me see.
Do
you want your date of birth done?
Sure, 4/11.
Okay, what year?
61.
Okay.
Oh,
Another
babies that are calling in here.
Yeah. What's your first name?
Kavita. K-A-V-I-T-A.
Spell it. K-A-V what?
I-T-A.
I thought so.
It's
okay.
K-A-V-I-T-A.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, you're very strong and you're very smart, but you keep your, emotionally you do a number on yourself because you don't always express your boo-boos. Your ups and downs and ins and outs and how you really feel about something. You take on a lot emotionally. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you follow your gut feelings, Kavita?
I do.
Because you have a master number in your birth date, which means that in one of your previous lifetimes, you did either the intuitive or some healing work of some sort. So it makes you, in this lifetime, you must follow your gut. And when you haven't followed your gut, you've made some boo-boos, correct?
Yes, that's true.
I want to tell you that it's really kind of interesting. It always goes in groups. But right now, let's see, your birthday's April, so that started in, let's see, bear with me. I want to say December, so we're getting through December, so I've got to get you through June, okay? And you're into this 18-month cycle, people, places, and things. Did you hear me talking to Karen earlier?
No, I just called in just a minute ago.
Okay, good. Well, let me explain it to you. It's kind of like we have the soul cycle, and it goes in terms of 9 years, okay? And a lot of times when we hit that cycle, and what you're in right now, it's people, places, and things. So you can go through a lot of emotional stuff. A lot of people go through job changes, house changes, friendship changes, relationship changes, things for you to decide what you're going to keep, what you're not going to keep, what's good for you, what's not good for you, what's healthy for you, what's not healthy for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so that would be a very good thing for you to master, because you've got to get through June of making some healthy decisions for yourself. No guilt, no fear. Those are two terrible things to have in one's life. Do you understand? You have to do something wrong in order to feel guilty. And I do feel that you harbor and you keep things to yourself. Is that true?
Yes, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't help it. It's in your chart. But you're sensitive, and you do feel things. Let's see. So let's see here. Do you feel like you've had a lot of stuff that's just gone ring around the rosy with you this year?
Yeah,
this conclusion?
Year, that way, yeah. Uh-huh.
That's, my spirit guide is really hilarious, because I usually don't use those terms, ring around the rosy, but obviously he's on fire today. Okay. So I really feel like you just really need to reset your goals or some new benchmarks for yourself. And we have to get through June of people, places, and things. Don't be trying to fix everybody or to try to make everything smooth when you're not a happy camper. Does that make sense?
I'm pretty happy. Things are pretty good right now.
Okay. Are you in a relationship right now?
No, not right now.
Okay. But there's a part of you that wants a relationship, because that's what I'm looking at here.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. I think the thing is would you feel that you're kind of judgmental, though?
No, I'm pretty much, this is who I am, and then I just go about my business. I don't really judge others. I know what I want, and I'm just going for it. Things are just moving in a good direction now.
So that's really good, and it's even going to get better after June.
Okay.
Another thing is do you have a boundary list or a non-negotiable list of what you've learned so that when you make a choice for a relationship, it's healthier than in the past?
Yeah, no,
okay, that's very good.
That's the kind of person I would be compatible with.
Okay, did you make a list of what you deserve?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Well, you're in the right direction then.
Yeah.
What have you learned in the last year is what you're going to have to reflect on, okay? Because this is a chapter like going into the attic that you've been stuffing people, places, things, situations. It could be happy times, boo-boos, whatever. And it's like, what do I keep? What do I think about that I need to change, and what needs to go? So it's not always an easy rodeo. I remember when I went through this cycle several years ago, and I moved, I downsized. It was, a debacle, let me tell you. And so there was different things. It was a huge change, and usually that's what happens in this cycle. So you've got a good year coming up. I really feel like you're going to be a lot happier than you've been in the last year and a half, I can tell you that.
Okay, great.
That's great information.
Right.
Thank you, Joanne. Kavita.
Yeah.
Do you have an older woman, a female in spirit, like as perhaps a grandmother or someone like that feels kind of sisterly? It feels more motherly, like, pardon me. What I'm being shown is a necklace. It looks like a pendant, and what the pendant is actually is a footprint. And it reminds me of have you ever seen that poster that's entitled Footprints, that Jesus walks alongside you? Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I have, actually. I really have.
Okay. That's what I'm getting from Spirit. So that's the feeling that I get. There's also a gentleman here who feels older to me as well, could be grandparent. Do you have grandparents on the other side?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So the feeling that I kind of get was I want to say to you the tribulations that I think Joanne was talking about, that you've walked through, you were not alone. And Jesus walks beside you. And I want to say to you that that's going to continue. And it's funny because they're dangling this pendant of a footprint, the outline of a footprint. And that's what it reminded me of, is the footprints. I guess it's not really a prayer, but it is Jesus walking alongside you on the beach. You've seen that poster, that picture. And so they want you to know that you are not alone with that. And I also have this lady, I don't know if she, the same lady, I believe, I don't know if she sewed or knitted or something like that, but I'm seeing a lot of textiles like knitting or a particular plaid or something like that, so I don't know if that's significant, but it could be a blanket. She's rolling out like a plaid in front of me, like one of those, they used to call them car blankets, and they would keep one in the car in case you got stuck in the snow. Something like that, but there's also jam here. So she's trying to give you some sweetness of life. I feel that she had a lot of grandchildren or great-grandchildren, this lady, or maybe even great-great, not sure. But I want to, and she's got a pen in her hand, so I don't know if she was a great correspondent or writer, or if you are, or she's telling you to write to yourself or to write down what your goals. So I'm going to pass that along to you, and I hope that is helpful to you.
Thank you so much. And it's interesting because I've been meditating and asking Jesus for guidance, and every time I ask for that, I see in the clouds, I see a cross in the sky, and today I saw a cross.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, good. I think they're trying to tell you you're on to something, girl.
Yeah. And you just mentioned Jesus, and I said, please send me a sign that you're around. I just had some health issues I wanted to work on, and he sent me a cross today.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Beautiful,
that's great. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing your life with us. We appreciate it. You're welcome.
You too.
I want to let me see what Tiffany is saying. That is great advice. Whoops, she's saying something here. I wanted to give a message to Irene quick. I'm going to jump on your radio show. Well, perfect timing with the caller, she's saying. Okay. I just want to give a shout-out to Irene because she calls and listens to, like, every show on Goldilocks Productions, and we're so honored to have her. This is Laura Romero's mom, whose name is the same as my mom, who's in spirit. So I always think of my mom when I think of Laura's mom. And Laura is the radio show host of Angels and Healing Light Show, also on Goldilocks Productions, which I think is during the day. So please check that out. I just want to say to her, Irene had lost a son now. I don't think this is the only child she's lost, but she lost a son, a brother to Laura, who is Walter, or Walt, they called him. And I kind of have a feeling with this guy, and he's always he's a big, gregarious kind of feeling to me, very deep kind of individual. They were very sorry to lose him. It was health complications, I believe. And he's always accompanied by this huge hairy dog, and he's having a ball over there. But he's also, I feel, is wearing a Santa hat, has a lot of gifts in his arms. So I have a feeling that he could be kind of like my second husband was, very an enigma of type, a difficult type to figure out, because he presented one thing and he was really much deeper than that. But I think he could pull this charming, laughable, likable guy off once in a while. And I think Christmas time he would pull this facade off. And I think he was very generous in that respect. So he apparently, I don't know if Christmas is significant, but I want to give her, Irene, that message that Walter's around and he is playing Santa Claus. So, and he will be around for Christmas. So I want to let her know that. He is also talking of relatives of hers, and that he's having a good time. He shows me a horn. He shows me Gabriel with the horn, so I don't know if Gabriel is important to her. You'll also see, it's a trumpet, really, not a horn, excuse me. A trumpet being Gabriel as the messenger. So I want to say that to Irene. I want to give that to Irene and Laura because he is, she's like our top fan, so I just wanted to pass that on. And he's talking about a few other things, but I'll relay them later. I just want to thank her for being such a great fan of the Goldilocks Production Show. She's dynamite. And Joanne, your website is psychicjoanneleo.com. Joanne is JOANNE, Leo, LEO.com. And you have different readings there, different price points, different readings. Something for everybody, and life coaching as well. And I have to say, you really changed my life. I want to thank you for that. And it's been always a pleasure working with you, and you're always booked every event that we are at. You are a very popular lady. And I hope that this is a very joyous Christmas season for you, even though you've recently suffered a loss. Please know that your brother, who is also sort of an enigma. It's the kind of guy I kind of like for some reason. I don't know why. It's a lot like Walt. Like you can't always figure them out. There is a side to your brother that always remains hidden from sight, but also a generous-hearted person. And I feel like I see money going out of his pocket on the side, like especially in regards to children, especially this time of year. So this is a time of year that he reveled in, really, just for that. I don't think he liked getting gifts as much as giving. And I want to let you know as well. He's talking about something. He says, I know you've been looking for a sign. And he says, nothing really represents me as well as butterflies or dragonflies. I know we've been talking about that. And he's showing me this iguana, like you would see in Mexico, or some people put like a sculpture on the side of their house of these colorful Grecos, I don't know why he's showing me that. But he has a present in his hand for you, so I just want to, and it's when you open it up, You untie the bow, it pops out like a jack-in-the-box, and it has these big letters, LOVE. So I want to give you that.
Yeah.
I want to let you know that.
That's great. That's great.
I don't know why this is going on.
You described them perfectly.
Okay, good.
He definitely wasn't the most expressive, emotional guy, but he had the biggest heart and generous. And you're absolutely right. He did get us through a lot of giving gifts, and he would always surprise me with something. He was crazy for his grandchildren, so that makes perfect sense for what you said about this time of year and with the kids and stuff.
Okay, people, call Joanne Leo. Joanne, you want to give your phone number?
I do, because I work by appointment, so I can, give them the best of me. 727-743-3400.
Psychic Joanne Leo, people.
Yeah, and they can text me, call me, and I will schedule them. I do half-hour readings. I do 1-hour readings. I do relationship readings. And I do the birth charts. I do angel cards and tarot with the twist. I read Schuster cards, which are different. They're read astrologically, numerically, and psychically. So there's usually not a question.
Thank you, Joanne, for being with us tonight. Our time is up. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in to In the Psychic Flow this evening. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week, I hope. Same place, same time, so please join us. We will either have a mystery guest or we'll be doing readings next week. So please get in touch with us. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Don't want the fun to end? Grab more refreshments, then head over to Goldilocks Productions' YouTube channel.
With over 950 archive shows, the fun doesn't have to end.